G'day, time, my Fuzzyites, and welcome to, I guess, a preview of stuff I've been working on. If you watched my channel for a long time, I've talked about writing stuff, wanting to be a writer, doing my own thing, and whatnot. And unfortunately, with how time has gone, I've met people who I was going to add into my story, and then those friendships kind of faded. And then there's always the money aspect, because if I'm getting people to voice act in these things, I prefer to at least pay them something. I'm not filthy rich, so I can't just pay a lot, but they need something. And I was focusing on other stuff, yada, yada, yada. As I always say, life comes first. And while my life is really good, no complaints, sometimes everything just went on pause. But for the past month, month and a half, I think just a month, I've been really working on writing some stories and getting what I really wanted from the start of my Pink Fuzzy channel going, which was / is stories. Now with, of course, like I said, I don't have much money and whatnot, so don't get your hopes up that I'm doing a whole animated spectacle or anything like that, or even I don't really have a camera to go out and do stuff. So what I'm doing to at least get stuff out there and have some interesting things is the stories I am telling will have basically the screen black or whatnot, and have the characters on screen present. So you'll see the character, the name of said character, and then the voice actor for them, who is one of my friends. Or people my friends know in some circumstances. So it's going to be very basic. It's basically going to be they're all going to be, for now, audio events, where you put it on, you listen to us go, yada, 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 and that's how it's going to be. I do plan on doing some animation, but I want to hold the animation for milestone moments in these stories. For parts and stories that I go that deserves more attention. This part of the story right here needs to be underlined and made known that it is important. While all my stories are important, this part in particular is going to be animated because, it really needs to be animated to get the full character of it, but we'll see how things go. My hopes is that I have many different versions of stories with many different themes and whatnot. Hopefully, if there's one you guys don't like, maybe the next one will be. Maybe you'll like them all. Who knows? I'm hoping right now it is May 30th. I am hoping that by May or June 14th I can get people together. We can voice all the stories I have right now, and put them out in one day, in order to promote my new channel and my writing journey into writing. And which from there I will probably do every other week a story thing or something. And every week there'll be this is one half of what I want to do. There's another half which is if you watch my channel, I used to do a quick reviews. I want to do the next evolution of that and something grander from there, which will be the next part. I think I'm going to hold that off till the week after the 14th to give me more time, because I've even started on that. I've really worked hard on writing these stories, and while they still need some, cleaning up, because while I like them, I like where they're going, they're not perfect. But without further ado, let's get into the first one we are doing. So I plan on the 14th to put out, at best, 6... Yes, I can count. 6 different stories. 4 of which will be the complete arc of one of the key series I'm doing. And that is... so the first one I am doing... Yeah, there. The first one we are putting out, this all in total, is called Damika is a Dungeon Designer. Damika is a dungeon designer is a story about the titular character, Robin Peck. No. Damika, who is in this world, it's like medieval world where there are gods and goddesses who rule over continents, completely always at war. And in the continents they rule through, they You know, they rule it. They have areas for people to go into. They take care of the land in many different areas. The goddess or god, in this case it's a goddess of the continent, has different people working under them. We follow Damica, who is a worker under the goddess, who after an incident 5 years ago had taken a break because the incident, which was terrible. And so she's getting back into service with the goddess and working with her now. And so we're going to follow Damica on her first job back in Damica the Dungeon Designer. As I said, there are 4 different chapters going. There are 4 different parts to the story. They're not going to be very long. I don't even know how long they are. I didn't time reading them out. But I think they'll be like 10 to 20 minutes, maybe more. We will see. And this one I thought of... To be honest, I don't really recall the thing I recall for this story, for why I wanted to write it, was I was thinking of, like, I thought of a good idea for an ending or, like, a really good plot point that I wanted to make. And so, through that plot point, I kind of brought together Damica, the goddess, the different roles in the goddess's workforce, one of them being a dungeon designer, and kind of put it together and, like, put it out there because of the one event I wanted, which is how I make a lot of the things I want to make, is I think of a cool scene I want in it, and then I work towards that. But either way, so this is going to be Damica as a dungeon designer. In this one, I am going to be playing, I will be playing the narrator, and I have my friends as the other characters. But here we go, just to give a little view of it. So, in it we won't be saying the names, but this is how I write. It's kind of a script way of writing, so people know, but... I'm Edward, so tell me, who are you? Wow, it's so cool. It's so cool. So cool, say your name as if it's not being... No. Let's do this. Wow, you're so cool saying your name as if it's not being spoken all the time by everyone around here. Edward nods, knowing his... Edward nods, knowing... Shoot, I can do this. Sorry, I'm nervous about this. I'm very excited to get this finally out there after so long. Edward nods, and pulls his hand back. A slight frown falls upon his lips before his radiant smile returns. It's nothing. Anyone can do what I do, if they give it 110%. Give and take an extra 100. Damica smiles sincerely. Damica smiles a sincere smile, not that different from a full-bellied hyena. Oh, I should say, forgot to mention, so with this story, the narrator, because of events in the past, completely hates Damica. So he is a very snarky, aggressive narrator, which I'm going to have a lot of fun with. But yeah, so that's my character. So, like, just so you know, when there's lines like this, a full-bellied hyena, it's because the narrator does not give a shit about Damica. He does not want to tell her story, and he is just, you know, he's done. But obligations are obligations, as he is needing to. Oh, I'm sure. I would love to join you on a mission sometime to see how an expert works. Well, I'm always open to teaching someone some good skills to help them on their path. Although you still haven't told me your name. Edward's left hand fiddles with his necklace nervously as Damica's eyes grow wide with the realization of her stupid mistake. Alright, and that's the end of the teaser for that. So like I said, that is Damica is a dungeon designer. There will be 4 parts on the channel, so the whole series going out. And I think it's good. I really like how the story goes. I'm really excited to put this out here. It'll be the first. It is the first first thing on the channel that people will see. The first series that I will have out, which I'm very excited for. And then we go on to the next series that I'll also be putting out. This is going to be... so where Damica is a continual story, you know, as you go through, every time Damica Damica as a dungeon designer comes up, or the series itself, it'll always be a self-contained story in multiple parts. Whereas the next one I will be doing is called Journey of the Expendable Crew of Ship 6444-777-733-777-999. Now, this one I came up with because I wanted to do something with less people. Because like I said, I plan to pay people for their service for voice acting in my stuff. And I wanted something that was a little smaller with more, a little smaller. It didn't really work. There's still like 4 characters I'm using here. So that kind of backfired. But it's a core 4 throughout. Whereas Damica will, as the series goes on, there'll be different people coming in. Where Journey of the Expendable Crew will be more this core 3 people and a narrator. So for this version of the story, I will be playing Henry. And Journey of the Expendable Crew is a story about space in the far, 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 far future. Hundreds of thousands of years in the future. Where, as things have progressed and gone on, the human race does as it does. It is expanded amongst the stars, taking over everything. And whatnot. But because of that, and there's a lot of danger in space and a lot of things going on, they needed, people who they could depend on to help do stuff and help in dangerous situations. Unfortunately, you can't really ask normal people for that. So what the series is about is people who have committed various different crimes of various different crimes of various different degrees of wrongness, working together to do missions that are thrust upon them from the agency, government, or whatever is in control. So with this one here that I have first is kind of a one-shot to kind of get you into the world and see kind of how it is. And then it will fluctuate. Sometimes it's a one-shot story. Sometimes it's a few episodes split up. We'll see as it goes and whatnot. Some stories are going to be many parts, some a few, and whatnot. So like I said, in this one, I am playing Harvey. Is it Harvey? I think Harvey. Harvey or Henry. But we go on. The food processor is here. No peanuts. I'm allergic and I will die. And I ain't planning to go like that. If I do, Henry might kill you. Devin has a quizzical expression. Might? He's not much of a people person, so there's a 50-50 chance he doesn't care. Should I be concerned? Jane looks at Devin, already done. We're on a ship called the Expendable. What do you think? Devin raises his hands. I'm sorry. Is something going on? I feel like there's more. I felt more at home with the Council of Order before I got here. Jane sighs and takes a deep breath. You're right. It's unfair of me. You're right. That's unfair of me. Being on the ship will do that to you. But I can't take it out on you. Do you want to talk about it? Fuck no. Let's go. Jane moves towards the front of the ship and opens the door, entering the cockpit. There are 3 chairs. Oh, I think, yeah. This is why you always check stuff. There are 3 chairs. One if the round, then the... One... Jane moves towards the front of the ship and opens the door, entering the cockpit. There are 3 chairs. One is front and center at the ship's windshield. A little behind the scenes of how I do stuff. Of the ship's windshield. Then 2 others a little back on either side. This is the cockpit, and Henry. Henry, an 8-foot-tall, bald behemoth of a man, stands up. He has a machine on his back directly implanted into his skin. He wears a white tank top and has long green pants. He walks robotically and with purpose as he stands before Devon, locking eyes with Devon. If it wasn't for the glint in Henry's eyes, he would think he was a robot. Get a lot of behind the scenes. Yeah, I wrote this frantically like a few days ago, so things in your mind kind of don't go over well when you rethink them. If it wasn't for the glint in Henry's eyes, Devon would think he was a robot. Devon Glass, born on Revacron 27, tried and failed to start an AI uprising, but failed before it could start. Why shouldn't I kill you? So yeah, that is the space adventure. It'll be fun, fancy-free, and like I said, because of how it is structured, they take jobs from the main company, which can range from investigating a place to going to a planet to helping some people out to assassinations, etc., etc. So the series can really go in many different directions, and I am very, very happy with it. I can't wait. I have a good storyline for it that I am very happy to show later on. And then the final story I have, this one you should be quiet. The final story thing I have is called Castaway from Life. So this one takes place with a down on his luck, has a really shitty life person who, after getting a job with a company, they go on a company gathering, I guess you could say, to a tropical island. But while getting drunk with his coworkers on a boat, he was launched out at sea on a raft, and stumbles onto a deserted island, which is his new life. And now he must determine whether or not life is still worth living, / if he can actually survive with or without his challenges. So this one will be self-contained. Like, the whole thing is going to be a narrative-driven story all the way through. It consists of just me as the narrator, the man talking about his time on the island, whether it's past or present, who knows. Ooh. This one I thought about because I needed something. I'm like, okay, I need something that if I can't get people in, I don't have the money to pay other voice actors for a certain role, I need a series I can do on my own that I can just, go into, record myself, get it up there, no muss, no fuss. Instead of being like, okay, I made this thing, I have to get people in, we talk about it, we go over it, I pay them, yada, yada, yada. And so I had a few ideas. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll do a pirate thing, but no, if you're doing a pirate thing, you'll need more people, because it's like the interactions and whatnot. Maybe a space thing, I thought. But I thought that might get a little too boring, either being stranded on, like, a planet, maybe, or, like, I think later on I decided on the Expendable Crew subplot. But I'm like, no, I don't want to do any space things with this, because I feel like, as vast as space is, I want something a little more at home. Because when I was younger, this is kind of taking from a lot of, if you're younger, you won't know what the hell I'm talking about, but there used to be, like, radio shows back in the day, and I know there was one radio show, after my parents, sometimes after church, on Sundays when we went, or they still go. With my schedule, I kind of can't. But there was a guy, he'd tell a story about a character, and he would just him doing voices and whatnot, but like telling the story of the guy's life and what he's doing and whatnot. Not always very exciting stories, but it was like interesting to hear like this character's life and like what shenanigans came up of it, or just normal life things. So I'm like, you know what? I want to do something with that. I want to have it where it's just one character talking and just going off. So here we have Castaway from Life. And this is actually the beginning of it. It started with me hearing the calming sound of waves hitting the shoreline. As my dreamy state left, I felt the gentle rock of being softly taken by the waves into the ocean and then slowly flow. And then the slow flow of the waves bring me back and bumping something. Slowly I regained my sorry. This is gonna be fun to edit. Slowly I regained my consciousness. Slowly I regained my consciousness. As I opened my left eye, it seemed like I was being rocked under a large cliff that blocked the view of the sun, though the sun was definitely above me. I coughed as I slowly lifted myself up, my head buzzing from the drinks I had last night with my coworkers. I looked down, seeing that I was lying in a white raft-like tube, similar to those used in pools or up for rafting. I groggily and slowly got up from the raft, and my feet dipped into the cold water as I stood up. I held on to my dinner from last night as I made... Yeah, one thing I'll say when writing this, I've gone back and forth of making it... I've gone back and forth on making it, well, am I talking in past tense or am I talking in current tense? I think in the end I thought we're going to do it in past tense, so this had happened. I made my way onto the shaded beach. I stumbled and lay on the ground, trying to keep myself together. I took a few minutes. Oh, that's the end. Oh. I stumbled and laid on the beach, trying to... I stumbled and laid on the beach, trying to keep myself together. I took a few minutes to lie down and rubbed my stomach as I tried to feel normal. When my nauseous feelings departed, I opened my eyes once again and sat up. Looking at the thick tropical foliage around me. That awaited me off the beach. I looked... like I said, I think I was like, okay, we're going to make this like I'm currently going through it. But I think in the end, it is a story about him recounting the journey. Either on the raft, surviving, who knows. I looked to the raft and stared it down as memories flooded back to me. Alright, and that is it. That is all. So we have 3 stories that I'm excited to show. Castaway from Life, 3 new series, Castaway from Life, Journey of the Expendable Crew of Ship 6444-7777-3377-999. And then Damika is a dungeon designer. I'm very excited to get these out there. Of course, they'll be better voiced than right now. And I will have to go over it. Because like I said, in like a month I wrote these. And sometimes when I write, I don't really go over what I've written. And clearly, as you saw in some of these, tell me who you are. Who are you? Okay. I don't know why I don't change that. But yeah, so I still need to go over it and whatnot, but I'm excited. I think these stories are really fun. I really can't wait to share them with everyone. Hopefully we'll get most, if not all of them done for the 14th, June 14th, which is the anniversary of me doing Twitch more consistently. Not full-time or being affiliate, but just consistently doing Twitch. And I can't wait. Hey, Buzzyites. Sorry to interrupt. The video was done, but afterwards I remembered. So, with the project going on and whatnot, I wanted to give more allusion to the future, because while those 3 stories are the main ones I'm working on now, there are also other things to do. Like, another big one that I'm really heavily dead set on making sometime in the future is a more fantasy-based journey. Like, you know, a D&D story, but without, like, the roles and whatnot. So that's something I'm working on. That one's going to be a big adventure, a lot of characters and whatnot. So that might be, you know, we'll see what happens with that. But that's another one. Another bigger fantasy one with actually different fantasy races other than Damika, which is just all humans, and then, like, it's your typical... Well, that one's more of a medieval with a little bit of magic. This one is, I guess... You'll see. A more fantasy one. Another one I'm really working on is a one I've talked about before. Otherworldly Defenders. I don't know if I put the name out there before or not. But it consists of 4 characters of different things. You have a human, a angel, a demon, or you have a human, a angel / person fighting for heaven. You have someone that fights for hell. And then you have a mysterious witch girl. And they fight otherworldly adventures and whatnot. Hence the otherworldly defenders. That's another big one I want to do. With that one, there's a certain character. I don't overly care about race and when making these videos, like, or writing my scripts. Anyone who can fit the bill can fit it. It's just an unfortunate thing is I don't have many other friends who aren't white, which is unfortunate. So, you know, in this character, while race should never matter making a character, there is backstory and stuff to this character that can only be done by someone who isn't white. I don't know how else to say it. So that's why that one's on pause, because I need someone. And I know people who are... like, we're going for an African-American black... It's an African-American black character. And while I sort of know some people who fits that race, not that it matters, like, race should never matter in anything, but like I said, there's key points to his backstory and past that relate to the race, unfortunately. But yeah, one thing I can't work with it is because I don't know anyone well enough to be like, hey, do you want to play this character? So that's kind of on pause until I can meet some more lovely people to fit that. And then beyond that, there's other ones that I want to make, but I haven't really dove into yet. Like, I want to do a Western story, and I want to do a pirate story. I love pirates. I really want to do a good pirate story. And there are other things going on. So just so you know, like, if any of the 3 stories I talked about earlier don't fit your fancy, then, like, I'll be making other stuff. There'll be plenty of different stories going on. And whatnot. So, but sorry, thank you. Had to jump in here just to give this last bit. Thank you, and I'll see you next anytime. Take care, my Fuzzyites.